Hi, I'm Chelsea with the Kansas City Gardener. Today I'm going to talk about a new tree I'm adding to my front landscape and how it'll fit into an area that I'm redoing. First, let's go over some details on the tree I chose. This is a Bloodgood Japanese maple, which gets about 15 to 20 feet tall and 15 feet wide. In my area, which has very hot summers, they do well with morning sun and they benefit from a little bit of afternoon shade to protect their leaves from the really scorching sun. Speaking of the leaves, that's what I love most. In the spring, the leaves are a dark burgundy and sometimes fade to a greenish red in the heat of the summer. In the fall, the leaves turn a brilliant bright red. The trees and shrubs that I have in my landscape right now don't have the best fall color, so I'm really looking forward to adding this into the mix. The most critical tip I can give when planting a new tree is to plant it at the correct depth. The surface of the surrounding soil should be even with or just slightly below the root flare. The root flare is what you call the area where the first roots meet the trunk. It's common to plant trees too deeply, but doing this can lead to a whole host of issues like disease and instability. Just like we showed in a previous video about planting shrubs, which I'll link to in the video description, we'll dig a hole that's the same depth as the nursery container and about twice as wide. I'll add in some starter fertilizer and gently rough up or trim the root ball to encourage new root growth. This prevents the roots from continuing to circle in the same pattern and encourages them to branch out. Place the root ball in the hole and check the depth before filling in with loose soil, packing it in along the way to eliminate air pockets. If you're planting a tree and it comes tied to a stake like this one, talk to your local garden center about the type of tree, the area you're planting it in, and when to remove the stake. In most situations, it's recommended to remove the stake shortly after planting so that the tree develops strength and doesn't grow to depend on the support of the stake. Finally, it's important to keep newly planted trees well watered, especially during their first 2 years, to prevent transplant shock and encourage new root growth. Since I occasionally forget this, and since it's been in the high 90s the past week, I will hook this tree up to a drip irrigation system, which will make sure it gets a slow, deep soak all around the root ball about twice a week. I will also add in a layer of mulch to help conserve water. It's worth noting that typically spring and fall are better times to plant trees than summer is, but I had bought this tree about a month ago, and it would be a lot more stressful on the tree for me to leave it in the container all summer than it is to plant it even if it's this hot. Finally, let's go over what's happening in this area now. So rather than planting the tree out in the middle of the landscape, I chose to landscape around the tree because I feel it makes the design look a little bit more intentional and cohesive. To do this, I simply took an existing flower bed and widened it by edging the shape and removing the grass. I'll be adding in some pavers right here, probably flagstone stepping stones, to create a pathway here through this bed and toward the backyard. In addition, I'll go in this fall or next spring and probably put some kind of an evergreen shrub right where those elephant ears are to mirror what I have on the other side of the house and make it look cohesive and consistent. Finally, I'll go in with some flowering perennials or annuals and kind of landscape around the tree to finish the look. Be sure to like the Kansas City Gardener Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to see future videos where we'll show you how this area evolves. See you next time.